Woo, let me tell you about Southern Holler. Deep-rooted conversation on civics and business. It offers an insightful exploration of local politics, community dynamics, and business partnerships. Each episode unravels a complex interplay between civic affairs and business ventures.
Power, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How you, buddy?
I'm doing okay. You sound a little under the weather today.
I'll be all right. And we're making it. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm up and around and being viewed.
Okay.
Or I'm vertical. That's what I meant to say.
Being viewed vertically, not horizontally.
I'd rather be seen and viewed.
Oh, okay.
I
got you.
That's how it goes. But,
well, before we go much further, I just want to say thank you to our good friend, Deb Donaldson, for being an associate sponsor. Deb, thank you for believing in us at Southern Holler.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Deb. We appreciate you.
It means a lot. Of course, we're always proud of our friends and sponsors and people that believe in the show, and always welcoming our guests and embracing them as well, and get to hear all their stories on top of our craziness and stories and experiences that we go through.
Absolutely. We get to continue this and do this, and it's quite the experience. It's quite the opportunity to get to spend time and hear these stories, and so we're just grateful. I know we're grateful. Today's
an important day in your household, right?
Absolutely. Today is my grandmother's birthday.
Miss Ann.
Grandmother. People know her by many names. Miss Ann, Miss Power. I call her Grand. Today is her birthday. She is rocking and rolling. She outruns me. She's kind of like a little celebrity in Barrow County.
A little bit.
We'll go to Ingalls, and a 10-minute trip turns into about 45 minutes because she taught everybody in Barrow County. We like to joke she taught everybody and their kids and their grandkids. When you teach, I think it was 35 years, you tend to touch a lot of people. And so, happy birthday, Grand.
Happy birthday, Miss Ann. I was thinking of the fall, and today was the first time, at least where we live.
It's felt decent. Absolutely. I hadn't walked outside and started sweating.
Yeah, it's been nice. I didn't have to change my shirt like three times today. That was nice.
Hey, that was great. That's great.
It was very, very beautiful.
Absolutely.
Any plans for the fall? Because, that's what we do. We can never be happy or satisfied in the weather we're in, so we always have to plan ahead.
Oh, absolutely. I try to plan as much as I can for fall weather. I always like to do the basic things. Drink your little apple cider. Just go out and have a good time.
Now,
go to an apple orchard or two, something like that.
Now, have you gotten old enough to where you actually want to make your own yet?
No.
No, you're not 30-something yet. So when you get 30-something, that's when you start getting to the point. It's like, I have to smoke meats, learn about World War II, which you probably already know.
I know a lot about World War II.
Yeah, see, there you go. You're already advanced in the craft of being 30-something, even though you're only like 25-ish.
I'd like to tell people I'm physically 25, mentally 85.
I got you.
So, I'm mentally on Social Security right now, but physically I'm not.
And your back health is about 55, 56?
It's about 70. About 70. I like to give that a little bit younger than the 85 part. But, we're kicking. My knees are about 35, so we're good. That helps. That helps.
Sure.
But, I'm kicking. I'm rocking. Now, here recently, it feels like I turned 25 and everything started to break. Which, I'll have a lot of people, that's too young. But it just felt like everything just decided it's going to collapse. This was going to be the year,
Sure.
A quarter of the way there, I guess.
You're just taking off the training wheels.
Yeah, I got past my first quarter and way to kick off the second with that.
There you go.
By the way, fun fact, I learned something the other day. Just wanted to throw that out there. In the city of Gainesville, they have an ordinance that you cannot eat fried chicken with a fork.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So do not eat fried chicken with a fork in Gainesville or you will go to jail.
Wow. Did you know a lot of cities, especially in the South, they still considering spitting in public areas finable?
I believe it.
I know a lot of ordinances have changed, but those, every once in a while, you'll see like a golden nugget, something like that. Not just jaywalking, but obviously littering is a no-no.
Absolutely.
But like spitting in front of other people, especially young ladies.
Absolutely.
Still frowned upon.
Absolutely. And as well as if you can't get your horse and buggy to the county seat by the end of the day, that's also a problem.
Man. Wow. We're two very boring people about that. We knew too much about old ordinances already.
My evening consists of sitting down, turning on TV, and watching Channel 2 Action News. And, that's my evening.
That's the that goes back to
catching up on WSB TV.
Right, and that goes back to the 80-year-old mind again.
Absolutely. I got to get my Judge Judy and Steve Wilkos show in,
Whew. Wow. Well, we do have another guest today. You know, kind of like what we opened up the show with. We always appreciate our guests. We like to hear their stories.
Absolutely.
Just kind of what they're doing in the community. Power and I talked several times about over this year. We're always looking for good people and good doing good things in the spaces that they're in.
Couldn't find anyone today, so we had to settle.
Oh, man. Don't treat him like that.
I had to give him a hard time. If I don't give him a hard time, he might think I like him.
That's not true. We both
like him. We like him a little bit.
Yeah,
we like him a little bit.
We have the locally famous and beyond Alex Ward.
Absolutely. See, the thing is, we have to beat up on you because, you know, UGA beats up on Georgia Tech at least once a year, so I got to beat up on you at least once a year.
I was planning on getting on here and giving you some compliments that you're going to pay me for later, but, you know, I see how it is. Hey, you're right. Georgia does usually beat up on my Yellow Jackets, but at the end of the day, graduates from both schools wind up in orange. It's just that Georgia Tech grads wind up in NASA orange, and UGA grads wind up in jumpsuit.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
I see how it
is. I'm going to give, this might be the only time this ever happens on this show. You ready, Power? You ready for it? Are you able to handle this?
I don't know.
Are you going to be okay?
Are you ready to send me back to the hospital?
No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm just kidding with you.
So we're going to give Alex Ward a minute and a half to talk about the little game that kicks off the football season this Saturday.
Oh.
Are you going?
Am I going to Ireland?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to Ireland.
Oh.
I'm a little bit too busy for that. Georgia Tech in that game is a double-digit underdog.
Yes.
But they also have some of the highest odds of pulling off an upset
Right.
this opening week. So it's going to be exciting to watch. I think Coach Brent Key has done a fantastic job, and all I got to say is Georgia better start looking out because we're coming for y'all.
Hey, we got it in a little under a minute and a half. I don't know if this is going to happen again. I met Alex, 2 years ago?
Right, about 2 years
It's
ago.
about 2 years ago. You're running for...
2.5 now, actually.
Yeah, 2.5.
It's been going by that fast.
You're running for a seat.
Yep, Coach Barry passed away, and so we had a special election to fill the remainder of that term, and I don't know if I hit my head, if I just went crazy or whatnot, but I decided I was going to go ahead and jump on in and do it.
I understand that very well.
You win,
Yeah.
obviously.
I did.
And then you had a short turnaround.
Was blessed that the voters saw fit to go ahead and keep me around for a full 4-year term, so I won the primary in May, and then actually... Fun fact, in the last 2 election cycles, I'm the only local Barrow County elected official who's had both a primary and a general election opponent.
That is
so
right.
I got
first time in a very long time that's happened.
So
Absolutely.
I got 3 elections in 8 months.
And that's deserved a vacation after that.
You age gracefully.
Yep.
You haven't
Absolutely.
aged at all. Alex is one of the local guys, Commissioner Alex Ward, is one of the local guys that really does do social media actively, and you do live town halls
Yes.
and events and some other things. As somebody who ever wants to run locally, how has that helped you get some of your message out? Just sticking with social media, doing live events, taking questions and things like that. What's your kind of view, or what does that do for you?
So social media does a couple things for me. Social media and being out live and being out with folks, it helps keep me connected to what's going on in the community. I'm never going to change my core values and who I am, but I also want to be able to meet people where they are and understand what are their concerns, what are they seeing, what are their needs, and give them an opportunity to get that information to me and also get information to them. I think one of the areas that government in general has not done a great job of is providing information.
Right.
You hear people talk all the time about how dumb the voters are. They're not. They just don't always have the information, and the people who have it don't always give it to them.
Sure.
And so I'm always trying to try to give as much information as I can. Obviously, there's certain things that get discussed in executive sessions and things like that can't be discussed publicly. But where I have the information or where I know where to get the information, my thing is let me try to provide as much as I can, and let me try to provide the wise decisions as well.
Yeah. I was at one of your last ones, and it was right before graduation. the last year's seasonal end of graduation. I thought it was pretty fascinating. It had to deal with traffic, right? Going in and out of the school, graduation day or night.
So graduation 2023 for
Right.
Appalachia High School
yeah.
was a nightmare. People were parked on both sides of Heyman Morris Road. I had folks that literally could not get to their house. I reached out to, at the time, the interim school superintendent, Rob Johnson. Here's what happened last year. What can we do to work on a better plan for this year? They put together a roundtable discussion. County had someone from transportation department, the school board representative, Beverly Kelly for District 4 was there, folks from the school system's transportation, from their transportation department, and they set up a plan that involved encouraging people to carpool, only allowing 2 vehicles per graduate, plus the vehicle that the graduate was driving in. We coordinated with Restoration Church to do a remote parking lot that the school buses would do shuttle buses to. There was not a single vehicle parked on Heyman Morris Road during the graduation. Last year, in 2023, it took 2 hours and 45 minutes to 3 hours to get all the vehicles out after graduation. The SRO's hope this year was to try to cut that down to about 2.5 hours, 2 hours.
Yeah.
We had everything out in an hour and a half.
Wow, that's
fully
great.
cleared out. It really showed the power of the community and the teamwork that we really do have across all different government agencies.
Yeah.
And it all started with just a simple, hey, can we meet?
Yeah, I was at that. The questions you got for that one is pretty interesting. One of the best parts about hanging around local public servants or local politicians is you never know what you're going to be asked.
Yes.
And you're always thinking on your feet. And you can never assume anything about anybody until they start talking.
Absolutely.
That's probably my favorite kind of just observance of you two, both Power, City Councilman Power Evans and County Commissioner Alex Ward.
Can you believe this? We got a Winder City Councilman and a Barrow County Commissioner sitting next to each other. And we've got a number of new folks, not only on the Board of Commission. We've got 3 new commissioners between myself, Commissioner Deborah Lynn, and Tim Walker. Commissioner Bill Brown is retiring at the end of this year, and so we're going to have Kenny Shook, who's not new to the game, but new on this go-around. City Council's Winder's got some new folks. Most of the other cities have new mayors. So having some change in face, it's been nice. A lot of us have really built some good relationships before we even got into office, and so that's been nice.
So Alex is a guy who likes to keep it, I don't know, you have an interesting life.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, so you're a DJ,
I'm DJ,
right? So
I'm DJ on the side.
DJ on the side. So is that like any event? Can anybody just find you and ask you to DJ, or what do you like to do?
Yeah, obviously it's a lot of mostly weddings, but I've done a number of galas and occasionally do pool parties, done proms and school dances and birthday parties and things like that. I did a wedding last weekend. It's actually the first time I've done a DJ'd a Greek wedding.
Oh, I bet that was fun.
That was very interesting. The father of the bride was actually from Greece. Like he flew in for the wedding. Oh, and while they were doing while they were doing their first dance, the bride and groom, 3 different times he pulled out a stack of $100 bills, popped the band off, and threw it up and Opa. So the dancing part was about 3.5 hours, and that's on the long end for dancing for a wedding.
So my large bone self is going to ask a question since it is a Greek wedding.
All right.
What kind of food?
They had some traditional Greek food.
Good.
Most importantly, I was worried because I didn't see it at first. They did have pita.
Somebody didn't bring me back a plate, and I'm furious.
I ate it all. It was good.
I don't care. You ate it all. You could have gotten a to-go box.
Well, and also the baklava. If you can get some of the baklava,
they did have baklava for dessert.
If y'all have never had it, there's a place in Savannah on River Street that has got some of the best Greek food. Baklava.
I think it goes for some
Euro meat. Oh, Jesus.
Chicken gyro.
Sorry, this is turning into a cooking hour instead of
some hummus.
So stop now. That homemade pizza. Oh my God.
So I like to bake too.
Yes, he
Yes,
does.
that's
He
right.
does the cinnamon roll that I have yet to take apart.
I know.
in my mouth.
Because I keep telling you what Sunday you want to come over. We got to get bagels too. Cause,
Oh
you know,
yeah, we
gotta
got to get
feed the
bagels.
Jewish
Yes.
side.
There's
But
a
Bagel
place.
Locks?
oh yeah,
There's a bagel place in Forsyth County that is heavenly. They are real New York bagels. It is. Alex took me there one time. It is close to heaven as I have been. You take everything bagel with egg salad, and that's what I like. It is so good.
So what's your
Kit
special?
Kat cream cheese? By the sorry, my large bone self had to tell.
So I do a homemade Greek style pita
Oh,
as well.
Oh wow.
come on now.
So do a little bit of. I like the bread products.
Absolutely.
For bacon.
You got to just witness a local high school football game,
I did.
and it was 2.0. It's the coaches.
Coach Maloof. So
Yeah, Coach
I've been working high school football or Norcross football games this is my 22nd season now.
Okay.
Started my sophomore year of high school, was running the video board and just
Right.
kind of slowly started taking over more and more stuff. And so now my official title, unpaid as it is game day coordinator.
Okay.
Now, that being said, I do get all the coaches' gear every year, so I haven't bought a new pair of sneakers in probably a dozen years.
Yeah, that's totally
I
worth
get a new pair of sneakers every year, get a couple polo shirts, some pullovers. Friday night, we had Maloof Bowl 2.0. So the original Maloof Bowl was our coach, Keith Maloof, and his brother, who at the time was the Tequila head coach.
That's right. Yeah.
Kevin Maloof. And so it was Keith and Kevin, the Maloof Bowl. Well, Keith's oldest son, Tyler, who played for Keith at Norcross, he actually was 2 years behind me in school, came back, was one of our assistant coaches, eventually became our offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, is now the head coach at Lanier. This is his third year there, and both him and our coach were having trouble getting a first game scheduled, so they decided to play each other. First quarter was scoreless. There were high emotions on both sides.
Sure.
Let's just put it that way. There's, I don't think I've seen so much laundry on the field. We get in right before halftime. Notifications start going off on everybody's phone about rain starting soon. They started making announcements about lightning in the area. So as soon as we hit halftime and the sky just opened up. 2 hour rain delay.
Oof.
We finally get back on the field about 11:45 or so.
Wow.
11:30. With a couple minutes into the fourth quarter, we score another touchdown.
Okay.
I just passed off the kickoff ball to the official to get set for the kickoff, and the clock strikes midnight, and they had all their lights on a timer. All the stadium lights kicked off, and they're the mercury halides, so that's a 20-minute restart.
Yeah, that is not just an off and on switch.
No. So we finally we scored one more touchdown. We ended up winning the game just before 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So then I get to pack up all the equipment, drive back to Norcross High School before I flip back around and drive back to my house in Bethlehem.
Wow. That's
So
a long night.
3 o'clock in the morning, I finally got in bed.
See,
That's fun stuff right there.
It is. I want to say it's the worst one, but it's not the worst one because of where it led us to. 2012 football season, we made it to the quarterfinals. We were number one seed out of our region, and we matched up with Camden County, number one seed out of their region. Back in those times, you had to have an official from each school meet up and do a coin toss in person. Now the GHSA just does a universal coin toss, and if you're top of the bracket, your heads, bottom of the bracket, your tails for ties. Well, our athletic director went down there and he lost the coin toss, which means we had to travel down to Camden County. So we left out Thursday. We actually stayed at United Methodist Retreat Center, Epworth by the Sea, down there in Brunswick, which was actually that was a pretty cool event. Each position was in a separate cabin with their position coach. The position coach had like the counselor's cabin in the middle, and the players were in the bunk beds in the side room. So that was actually a pretty cool experience. But then we played Camden County, got the win, but then we drove 5.5 hours back home that night. So we were pulling back into Norcross about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, unhooking the trailers and heading home. But, hey, I'm not going to complain because we won the next two games, which means we were state championships, and I got a nice big state championship ring from that one.
Good for you.
Well, so I do have one Barrow County question for you.
What you got for me?
You just said Bethlehem, and that made me remember there's a new hospital that just opened, right? Is it a hospital?
So it's a medical office, medical complex. They've got 7 specialties there. Actually, Sunita mentioned it at Rotary today. They've got 7 specialties there.
What's the hospital?
Care. That's it's Northeast Georgia
That's right.
Medical Center. It's their new medical complex. They've got that entire property there, and so there's potentially long-term plans for more there.
Right.
They just opened that up, so that's pretty exciting. They've got the ribbon cutting coming up.
That's awesome.
It's exciting. My part of Barrow County is probably one of the fastest growing parts of Barrow County.
Yes.
It's a lot. It's a challenge trying to balance that growth, but
let's ask a common question then.
All right.
A very common question. So you should have this one rehearsed already. So how do you balance keeping kind of the heritage of the area and growth? Because that's the most common question. So anytime you run for office, especially when you live in like small legacy towns that's been around forever, because you don't want to see a lot of that go away, but you also have to embrace what's coming.
Well, the simple solution is you just blame all of the extra growth on the city council members in Winder.
Oh, wow.
Just say it's all their fault.
Is that what it is?
But
All right, I'm going to have to write that down.
I just want to say all you have to do is go to Appalachia High School and look across the street at all the new houses over there.
But
and last time I checked,
the reality is,
No, I'm just kidding.
it's the challenge of balancing the private property rights
Sure.
with wanting to try to keep things the way they are, and you've got generational farmers that the kids and grandkids don't want to do it anymore, and so they just want the money for the land. And
and that was my point. I've said this in a couple other podcasts. Is like, so when farmers who didn't have generational wealth at all, but their kids do, what are you going to do? Say no?
Exactly. And so what you do, so the way you handle it is you stick to your comprehensive plan. That's that's something that I'm really big about. Is if this area is set aside for lower density housing,
right,
just because a developer comes in and asks for an amendment to be able to do higher density, you don't approve that. You keep it. There's a reason you do a comprehensive plan so that everybody knows what's coming in and what's being built. But I think one of the other ways you do that is you find avenues for people to get involved in the community. And here's where I do want to give some kudos to Winder. They've got their first Friday of the month events in downtown Winder. Auburn is constantly doing stuff in downtown Auburn. There's constantly things going on, and I think that is a way to keep that small town feel, is you make people feel like they're part of the community, so that when you do go into Publix, you're seeing somebody that you know. You're striking up those conversations. I mean, I know we're not all Ann Power or anything, and happy birthday to her. I know we're not, so we're not going to be striking up hour-long conversations with everybody in the store, but at least being able to see that familiar face, know who your neighbors are, go out and touch grass.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Alex,
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much
for coming in today. We would definitely appreciate all of our guests as usual.
Absolutely.
And the county and the city getting into the same room is even better.
Listen, there's nothing but love in this room.
That's right.
Always.
Nothing but love.
Hey, thanks again for joining us today at the Southern Holler in the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio. It's a production studio. Always find our information and our podcasts on negabrx.com. Look for Southern Holler. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
I appreciate it.